Hi teacher, my name is Ian Hernandez and this is my project. Next, I will show the process of repairing a car. I have chose this topic because I repair cars and it is a topic in which I have sufficient knowledge. Next, I will show trucks, imagines, the tools that are used to repair a car. The first, the first tool is a hammer and thumbs, a kit for thumbs. A second tool is a line. I need a pair of wedge, sanding picks, and I need strainer and 3 paint guns with one compressor with accessories. We need the materials that I use to repair a car. For repair a car, I need 80 sandpaper, 120 sandpaper, 220 sandpaper, 320 sandpapers, and 600 sandpaper. I need automotive paste, automotive primary, and background paint, clear, soap and water, a half-inch tape and masking paper, and degreaser, paper towel. I need a towel, thinner, and that's all. I have divided the repair process into 7 steps, which I will describe below. We start with step 1. The step 1 is bomb repair. In the first step, all the balls of the vehicle of the part to be painted must be identified. The blows are identified by visual aid or by touching the pies with the palms of the hands. Some blows can be very strong or the smallest ones can be imperceptible to the naked eye. Depending on the level of damage that the piece has, it will be time to work on process to be carried out. For example, in this piece you can see serious damage to the paint as wheel and oxidation. Another example is in this other piece when you can barely see the blow that the car has. This is the bump. Bumps to repair it are made with 80 grit sandpaper, and if the blow is very severe, the work is carried out previously. For example, in this car, when the sheet has been molded back to its original shape. The correct blows of the car you must hit with hammer at times until the figure of the piece similar to its states before the blow is molded again. In this image you can see how the piece is hit until it returns to its original shape. After corrective blows, you must file the piece with the lime to analyze that it has been in the correct way. After filling, the bombs should be sanded with 80 grit sandpaper, making sure the surface is as smooth as possible. The step 2, the tiled blow. In this step, the paste is used to apply onto previously repaired blows. The automotive paste, it is normally made of two components. One is the catalyst and two is the file compound. Generally 95% file compound and approximately 5% catalyst is used. This is an example of how the paste should look before it is mixed. By having the compound in the aforementioned measures, they must be placed on a rigid and flat surface and mixed with the help of two wedges, as seen in the previous image. The catalyst and compound should be stirred until a uniform mixture is created without shifting shades or lumps. And once the paste is mixed, it should begin to apply to the bombs with the help of the wedge. When applied the paste, the generation of lumps and pores should be avoided. The more uniform it is applied, the easier it will be to sand it. In this image, you can see that the paste is applied from right to left. Step 3. It's sanded paste. After applying the paste, it is necessary to wait approximately 50 minutes to be able to sand paste. To sand it, start with 80 grit sandpaper. This should be placed at double which will be of the utmost importance for the piece to be repaired in the best possible way. You should start sanding the paste in the opposite direction to how they were applied. In this image. As you can see in this image, this piece is sanded from right to left because the paste is applied from top to bottom. After sanding it this way, it should be sanded in different directions to level the area that was hit with the rest of the piece. When the piece is level, the 80 grit sandpaper is removed and 120 grit sandpaper is placed. As can be seen here, while the sandpaper is changed, the surface of the car will be smoother. The blows are sanded with the 120 sandpaper mostly in circular movements. Then the 120 grit sandpaper must be removed and place the 220 grit sandpaper. The sanding process is repeated in circular movements and care must also be taken not to sand the piece too much, as this could cause it to become uneven again. If unevenness is observed when sanding the paste, another layer of paste must be placed. You repeat from step 2. The step 4 is apply primary file. Filer prime Filer prime should only be applied over the dents that have been repaired. When applying the primer, the parts of the car that do not have blows must be covered. Otherwise, the entire car will be splashed with primer. To prepare the primer, the specification sheet made by the manufacturer must be taken into account since not all manufacturers handle the same form dissolution. The primer must be prepared in a clean container, and once mixed, it is emptied on the previously cleaned gun. This is a cleaned gun. You see? The application of the filler primer must be with a pressure of 25 to 30 psi. This process is applied to seal the repaired dents and avoid stains and disgarment during the painting process. For 2 or 4 coats of primer should be applied to ensure a good seal. The primer should be applied about 30 centimeters away from the car. 20 centimeters. This is a big space. Once applied, it is necessary to wait at least 3 hours to be able to continue with the repair. This is generally what a car looks like after applying the primer. You can see primary marks in this photo. After waiting for the material to dry, the previously applied primer must be sanded with 320 grit sandpaper until the repaired area is smooth and uniform. And in the step 5 is preparation of part. The repaired parts must be sanded in their entirety with 600 grit sandpaper. The entire piece must be sanded until it completely loses shine. This is an example of how the car should look when the parts are ready. You can see how it still looks shiny at the bottom. When sanding the piece, you should avoid leaving scratch in different directions. Not correctly. After sanding, the parts to be painted should be cleaned with soap and water. Once the parts have been sanded and washed, all the parts of the vehicle that will not be repaired will be wrapped with tape and paper. These are examples of how the cars look when finished covering them with paper. At this point they are ready to be painted. This step is done to avoid splash and well as when apply primer. A trick to do this process quickly is to place half of the tape on the short paper and the other half on the piece to be protected. This is one of the most important steps because if you don't do right, the car will have trace of paint, as will splashes. The process can also be done with plastic, but this method is more politic than using paper and tape. After putting tape and paper on the protected parts, clean the repaired parts with automated paint degreaser. This is an example of how the greaser is being applied with the help of a paper towel over the entire piece. Generally, I apply the greaser with paper towels and always get good results. In step 6 is painting parts. Depending of the car to be painted, this process change a bit. Generally apply background of some color similar of the color of the car. This must be applied at 30 psi. It is necessary to start with an application moving the paint gun about 25 centimeters away from the car. The distance. The primer should only be applied to the repaired areas. You don't need to add a lot of paint in one go. It should be applied little by little, respecting the distance and the pressure of the paint gun. Remember, the pressure gun is 30 psi. Generally, this is accomplished after 3 or 4 passes. Here you can see before and after applying the automatic background. When the stairs is well covered with the background, it is time to add the paint to the vehicle. The painting of the vehicle is done in the paint shop and they deliver the paint to use ready to apply. Previously, the paint be diluted with the appropriate solvent. This depends a lot on the technical sheet of the paint. When the paint is already diluted, it can be strained and poured into the gun. The car paint should be applied in the same way as the background. The distance and air pressure must be respected in the same way. Once the entire piece is covered with automated paint, it should dry approximately 20 minutes. After waiting, you can apply the clear. The clear should be applied at a pressure of 30 of 35 pounds. When carry out these parts of the process, it is necessary to be very careful because a bad application of the clear can lead to having to start the repair from the scratch. Each clear is diluted in a different way depending of the technical sheet. For this step, you must calibrate the pressure in the gun and ensure that your compressor works correctly. In this step, there can be no margins for error. You should start by applying a uniform layer of clear throughout the piece. In this process, three layers of clear are applied. You should start by applying a uniform layer of clear through the piece. The first coat of clear is applied from 20 centimeters away using the fan full open. This is the fan, and the fan is full painting. After applying a coat of clear, you always have to wait 10 minutes. The second coat of clear is applied in the same way, ensuring good pressure on the equipment and applying evenly. The third coat is applied at a distance of 50 minutes and 35 psi of pressure should be used. This last layer will be the finish that will be obtained on the piece. The more uniform and with the application of the clear, the better result will be. And finally, step 7. Final detail. It is mandatory to start by properly cleaning the pistol previously used. Generally, when I work the disassemble and clear with thinner with methanol and tow. To do easily, it is necessary to start by cleaning the bowl inside, and then disassemble the nozzle. This is the nozzle, and carefully clear the ducts. Inside are the ducts, and this is the nozzle. This is very clean. Returning to vehicle after applying the 3 layers of clear, you must waiting 30 minutes to remove paper that were glued in step 5. The paper must be removed delicately because it must be remembered that the paint is not yet 100% dry. Once the papers have been removed, a visual inspection is carried out to ensure that the part has been successfully repaired. After making sure that everything has gone well and the paint is completely dry, we clean the car, making sure that there are no problems to be able to deliver it its owner. When washing the car, I wash the tire, the mat, glasses, and plastics that may be dirty or stained should be cleaned. And finally, the car is inspected for no details and is delivered to its owner. And it is all. Thank you.